Hello, everybody, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are here to talk wide receivers.
I
We're
know.
going to look at some free agents, some guys that maybe want to be relocated. Big position of need. I think we need a wide receiver one, right? Well,
At,
like we need to talk about it.
at this point, yes. I mean, we don't have a wide receiver one. I would love for Leggett to become that, or Jalen Coker to become that, but as of right now, I see them both as 2-3 guys. Adam Thielen should not be our number one going into the next season, just in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's a great asset, and I want him on this team, but we want Bryce to have that guy. That guy that teams fear.
You need the game changer,
It's a game changer.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Coker and XL could become that for sure, but right now they're not that, right? And Adam Thielen is really, really good for what he is. He is among the best at what he does for what he is, but he's just not a game changer, right? He's a very reliable receiver. He would be an amazing, imagine him as like a number 3 for you. That would just be what a luxury, right?
Or like that number 2 slot guy. Like that's all he would do.
Yeah.
But you have that premier guy on the outside. You have Leggett or Coker on the other side. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do a nice setup of 4 guys. But
Yeah.
the
He
problem
would
is
always be open. He would always be open across the middle.
so the problem is going that 4 wide, we don't have that number 1 guy. Right now we have a bunch of 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right now, for
Right
sure.
now.
And, there's been some talk of drafting T-Mac right out of Arizona, who, a lot of people really, really like, and some people think might be, not in that top tier that you would want, right? Like last year's wide receivers.
correct.
So, and at number 8, we have so many needs. Like, would it be smart to even draft a wide receiver there?
And especially with the question marks of, is he that number 1 guy? He's not that Marvin Harrison Jr. where you're just like, okay, like that.
No doubt.
That guy's, and dude, Malik Neighbors, like everyone knew he was going to be really good. Like it's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, even Worthy, like that, people felt like he had a role on a team that, be that explosive guy. Like but this guy is really good, and I can't wait to do our draft profile on him, probably in a couple of weeks here, because I think he could be worth that number 8 pick. But assuming we're not going to draft a wide receiver at number 8, let's maybe look at some of these guys who could be available, in the league already. Probably the biggest of just made some news today, Jerry.
yeah, DK Metcalf from Seattle has requested a trade to get out of Seattle. The reason why he's connected so much here as us Carolina fans is because our head coach, Dave Canales, coached him in Seattle. He had some of his best years with Canales.
Yep.
They're very good. Even when he got hired here, DK Metcalf went out of his way to praise him and said that the Carolina had a good coach. So with that being said, he wants out. He's got
Yeah.
1 year left on his deal. So you got to pay him.
Got to pay him, and you pretty much have to pay him now because his cap hits $32 million
Yeah.
this year. So you've got to extend him when you're trading for him. The question is, does he want to play here? Right? Because I think we would love to have him. I can't imagine it would be. I mean, what do you think the compensation would be for him?
I was listening to the radio, and one guy, like one of the premier NFL guys, was saying it's not going to be a top pick. It's not going to be a first rounder with that.
Like a 3rd or a 4th rounder.
I heard
I would
he projected like a 3rd, maybe a 2nd, but he was like, you got to pay him that big contract. You're not going to fork over a 1st round pick for him. It's just not going to happen. If it does, good for Seattle. No one else. I don't think someone else is going to do that. Because you also got to look. There's other players out there. There's Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, a little bit older.
We'll be talking about some of those guys here in a minute. Yeah, at 27, or he's going to be 29. No,
Well,
he's
that's a
27
jump.
right now. Yeah, he's 27 right now. He will eventually be 29, but right now he's 27. And yeah, he's going to want top wide receiver money.
Oh yeah, he's gonna demand that. You're gonna have to pay
Yep.
him top 5 receiver and probably top 3, honestly, just because that's how the NFL works.
Yeah, but you would have the guy. Like, he is a number one wide receiver.
Yeah, he's big, strong, and fast. And again, that's what Canales worked with really well with
Yeah.
Mike Evans. Worked really well with DK Metcalf. He brought in Leggett. Leggett's a big, fast, strong guy. He just hasn't put it all together.
I mean, they drafted Leggett because they wanted him to be their DK Metcalf, right?
Their DK
Imagine, what if you have 2 DK Metcalfs on your team?
Yeah, exactly. You got that guy that can run the 4-4, and you also have both of them that can climb a ladder and get. Again, I'm not writing Leggett off. I'm just saying right now he's not that, but he could grow into that.
He could, and who better to teach him how to grow into that than that, right? Like, I like it, and I would be thrilled if they could make this happen. I just don't know. I heard that he wanted to go to a contender. He didn't say what contender, but I heard that he wanted to go to a contender. So does he view us as a future contender? I don't know.
I mean, you got to think. Does he like Bryce Young, what he saw? And from all reports, most of the players have come out supporting Bryce, like from other
Everybody
teams saying
loves
like,
Bryce. Yeah.
like, oh, dude, he's a dude. Like, that's what I keep hearing. So I'm good. So right now, I'm on Spot Rack right now. His current market value, I'm using quotes, is 3 years, 78. I think he's gonna go for that.
I think he'd go for more than that. I can see more than that.
So the comparable players around his age, you got Justin Jefferson for 140, CeeDee Lamb 4 for 136, Amon St. Brown 4 for 120, AJ Brown 3 for 96. So average. Man, I love Spot Rack, by the way. Spot Rack.
Nice. That's great.
Spot Rack averages it out to, so top 4 guys here, very similar in age and everything. 4 years, 123 million, 32 million a year, and obviously you kick that towards the end of this. I could see that for him.
That would certainly be what he would want. He would want to be paid like those guys because he believes he is one of those guys, and I think that at his best he is. He's right up there, right? He's really, really good. That's a lot of money to pay a wide receiver, but the cap just jumped like what, $30 million this season. Like, you can probably expect that next season and the season after that and the season after that, and then all of a sudden it doesn't look like a crazy deal, right?
I mean, look at Cam Newton. Do you remember when he got that $20 million contract per year? And everybody was like, that is so stupid that they're paying them that money. And then, like, 2 years later, it was like, oh, that's such a great deal. I mean...
Yeah. And that's what the deals are going to look like now. I mean, we've been saying it about the Patrick Mahomes deal, right?
Yeah, that was a genius deal.
Yeah, like 2 years from now, that's going to look, the average quarterback is going to be making that, right? And he's way better than that. So, yeah, I mean, DK Metcalf he's been pretty healthy, right? Like he got hurt. I think he got hurt a little bit this year, but I don't think he's had a catastrophic injury, has he?
No, he's played in most of his games, 16 games. I think that then 17. Past 2 years, he missed 1 game in 2023, and he missed 2 games in 2024.
Yeah. So he's been pretty durable, right?
Yeah. Durable. I mean, I'm looking at his stats, though. I will say that I thought he got more yards than he has. He had 1,300 in 2020. That was his breakout season. But other than that, he's been 967, 1,048, 1,100, and 992 last year. And that's missing 2 games. So,
yeah, well, in a couple of those seasons, they did not have Canales, right? They did have the Canales in his breakout season. And yeah, I mean, they've had some weird quarterback stuff going on there the last few years. Like, but he's been dominant, right? When he's been out there, when they've thrown to him, like he's still averaging. He averaged 16.9 yards a catch in 2023, and then 15 last year.
Yeah, I mean he's
like that's big time. 8 touchdowns and then 5 touchdowns last year, so he's been scoring still. I mean, I think he's still a legit number 1 receiver.
I do too. I agree, and again, he's 27 years old.
Yeah, he's 27.
So if you sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal. Fifth year kind of being the this is never really gonna happen type of situation.
Yeah, that or that team option after the 3rd year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the way to go.
I would love it. What would you give up to get DK Metcalf here?
I think a 3rd is realistic.
So,
right,
if we're gonna give up a 3rd, other teams will probably give up a 3rd too. I mean,
Right. That's what I was saying. I think it's going to come down to where he wants to go. I think the Panthers would consider giving up 57, right? That late 2nd round pick.
I was thinking try to give up the 3rd round pick, give it to him, and do a pick swap. Or do we have a earlier or later 2nd round pick?
We have the Seattle. Late 2nd. I mean, we have our late 2nd round pick. That's the only 2nd round pick we have.
No, we don't have ours. We have someone else's.
We have the Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah.
So actually, I think we would be after them anyway. So never mind. The pick swap wouldn't help.
No, but what we could do is trade them that late 2nd for their 3rd or something, right? Just
move
them up a few spots, something like that, or their 4th. Right?
I'd be okay with that at pick.
Yeah.
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 Like
and DK Metcalf.
Yeah. So give them our 3rd. We do a pick swap for our late 2nd, their earlier 3rd, and then we do a get DK Metcalf. I would love that. You're looking at giving up a 2nd, but I think that's a value.
Yeah.
You're really giving up more of a 3rd and just drop it back a few spots.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense if they want a 2nd. But again, I really think that who's a team out there that would really benefit from DK Metcalf? That would be a contender. I mean, you could even look at the Bucks. I mean, maybe he would want to go to Tampa.
I mean, the obvious choice is Kansas City. I mean, you put him on that.
Yeah,
roster.
I mean, Kansas City's got Hopkins now and Worthy. They've got.
Is Hopkins still under contract there?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't seen him on any free agency lists.
I mean, he's also. I hate saying this as he was once one of the best players in the league. Is he worth anything though? Like. No, he's on a contract. He's still on I think a contract. It looks like so.
Yeah, I thought he was, but yeah. I don't remember what we got on. Why did we start talking about him? Oh, the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, could come calling, right? Can you imagine?
Oh God.
Him and CeeDee Lamb, like that would be insane.
Yeah, but they still have Dak Prescott throwing, so I mean, I'm feeling good.
Well, they just renegotiated Dak's. They just renegotiated Dak's contract to save them $38 million under the cap this year. That just happened today.
Oh, I missed that.
Coincidence? Maybe they could be going after him.
I mean that would be a scary one too. A really scary one too.
If you're DK Metcalf, like you go there, right? As opposed to here, if you have to have the choice.
I mean, just because of the sponsorships and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
just because it's the Cowboys, right? You have to for your brand.
Yeah, brand wise, that's a play.
Yeah.
But it depends what he really wants. If he wants coach familiarity because he knows our playbook or he knows what Canales likes, so
yeah. I mean, I think that we have a shot.
I do. I 100%.
Yeah.
If he didn't come out and go out of his way to say how much he likes Canales last year when he got hired here, I would say it's probably slim to none. But I do think with his familiarity and his like of Canales, it's a real possibility. And if I'm Dan Morgan, I'm calling. I'm picking up that phone and saying,
Sure.
"Hey."
And Dan Morgan has familiarity with that front office.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about
Right?
that.
Or at least people
Oh,
in that front office, right?
old front office. I think those guys are
Yeah.
gone with Pete Carroll.
Oh, you might be right. You might be right. Well, he knows the area.
Hey, you know that bathroom on the
Hey.
4th floor? You gotta jiggle the handle. That's a,
check the graffiti out. See that graffiti output still on the wall there? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I think that they would be dumb not to call and just see, right?
oh, 100%. That's what you
Eh,
gotta do.
You have to. I think you have to.
I
So
think
I'm sure
DK
they are.
DK Metcalf doesn't hit free agency. You trading away a pick
Oh,
for
for
him.
sure.
It's a great
Or
pick.
the other possibility here is their contract negotiations are going bad, and this is a ploy to get a better deal.
I 100% believe the contract negotiations are going bad, and this is either. I honestly, it's a way for him to get what he wants, whether it's from
Yeah.
Seattle or someone else to get a better contract.
We have seen players many, many times make the trade request and then a couple of days later sign the big contract with their team.
I love this team. This team is great. I don't really want. I never wanted to leave.
Right.
And to
All
be
the time.
fair, it's
All
their
the time.
business. It's their business.
Sure.
Like,
Sure. It makes sense. Yeah. It just, yeah. Why does he want to get out of there? Like, does he really just not want to be there anymore? Or is this just a way to get the money that you think you deserve?
yeah. And supposedly it caught his running partner off guard. Jackson, or I can't say his last name. JSN.
Smith and Jigba.
Yeah. Supposedly after he requested the trade, he tweeted out, "Bro, WTF?"
Oh, well. His other running mate, we could briefly discuss, Tyler Lockett got released. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not sure that that's exactly what we need here, but he's going to be a good, number 3 or low-end number 2 for somebody, right?
Yeah, I 100% think he still has some juice left in the tank. He's 32 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he's gone downhill, and he was the odd man out there. I mean, it was just kind of obvious in my
Right.
opinion. Last year he had only 600 receiving yard. Yeah,
I think he's been pretty consistent prior to that, though, right?
yeah.
Right,
2019 through 2022, he had 1,000-yard season every year. Then last year he had a 900-yard season, 894,
Yeah.
and then this year 600. So again, it seems
I
like
think
JSN
was a
came
weird
in
year for
last
them.
year,
yeah.
so they got him going this year. It's just time for him to go. I still think he could put up 802 yards or so.
Yeah, I just don't know where he fits here.
On this team, no. I think he just doesn't fit where we're at.
Yeah. Well, a guy that would fit, T. Higgins, has been franchised by the Bengals. Now, this doesn't mean much. He can be traded for, very similar to a DK Metcalf type deal here, right? Maybe even a little more to get T. Higgins, but he is no longer a free agent. So I'm not sure, what the difference between trading for him and trading for DK Metcalf would be. I mean, do you think that they would get a first for him?
I do. I think I think with the franchise, you almost have to get a first.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not willing to give up. I don't know. I mean, do you give up number 8? Do you give up
No,
number 8 for T. Higgins?
I would not give up number 8 for T. Higgins. It's just, it's too pricey. I think DK Metcalf gives you very similar productivity.
So that's the thing, right? Like, now that DK Metcalf is a possibility, I think that hurts T. Higgins' value,
100% it does.
right? Like, this wasn't, when I was thinking about this earlier, or yesterday, DK Metcalf hadn't, requested a trade. Didn't really think about him as a trade possibility. But now I think you have to. And T. Higgins, I was prepared to come in here and argue with you and say, for a guy of his caliber, at his age, it might not be a crazy trade, right, for the number 8 pick. If you're locking down, arguably top 5 wide receiver talent.
But is he? That's also my problem. Is Ja'Marr Chase is on the opposite side. It is it's such a difference when you're the guy compared to you're the running mate of the guy.
True, and some guys break out, and some guys are Scottie Pippen and need to, are their best when they have the superstar running mate, right?
Yeah, I mean, look.
So I happen to think that T. Higgins is the breakout type of guy. I happen to think that he is a guy that's going to be a 1,500-yard receiver.
See, I don't know if he's a 50, but I do think he's a number 1. Does that make sense? Like, he's not that.
Sure.
I don't know if he's a top 5 guy. I don't, but I do think he's a number 1 overall, a number 1 guy. He's get 1,200, something like that. Yeah. 15 is a little steep for me, but another guy, I did just kind of throwing this out. Brandon Ayuk is supposedly they're inquiring about trades, and he got a big contract last year.
He got a big contract, yeah. So
4 years,
is this contract too big?
4 years, $120 million. I mean, basically the same money we're looking at, or actually less money than DK Metcalf and T. Higgins will be getting.
A little less, yeah. I think significantly less than T. Higgins. I think he could get like 35.
And I don't know how the cap hit goes. I think if certain amount of bonuses 49ers pay.
Yeah, but there could be all kinds of contract weirdness with trade kickers and stuff, but he would be I like Brandon Ayuk, but he would be the distant third of those 3.
But if you pay him less and you have he's already
still
in
$30
contract.
million a year though. That's still a
hold
ton
on.
Of money.
I am managing the roster on Spot Rack. I love this little thing. This is not an ad for Spot Rack, but I do say I do love how to play with this.
We would happily advertise for Spot Rack, though, if Spot Rack is listening.
Yeah, no one is, but yeah. All right, San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ayuk, here we go. Let's trade him. Process trade.
What are you trading for, like a third?
Yeah, third, second, something like that. I'm just doing the trade. So right now he would be a $6.5 million cap hit against our cap next year.
Affordable.
Yeah, yeah.
That's affordable. That's a well structured deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how that works though with splitting the bonuses, or does I don't know the ins and outs of contract negotiation and things like that.
And sometimes it is negotiated on. I know. I mean, when we traded away, who did we have to pay all the money? Basically, we just
all of them. We didn't make good trades for like 3 years.
No, we
4
didn't.
years, 5 years.
Oh man!
Yeah.
I mean, his cap hit. So it looks like his cap hit for the 49ers next year is $11 million, then $16 million, then it jumps up to 42, 44. So it looks like
that's when you renegotiate.
Yeah, that's their out. 3 years, $76 million, $9 million in dead cap. That's where they cut him.
Yeah, that's when you give him the 2-year extension and you lower that cap hit. Jeez.
Why are you trying to hit the cats?
No, it's their hips. The cat's hips that I'm worried about. Whatever word cap hit. Jesus. Either way, you know, there might be a year or two where you get a big cap hit from him, but is he worth it? I don't know.
See, and that's the thing is, like, I'm looking at his cap hit at $42 million. You're not going to get that in 2027. You're just not.
I was pretty disappointed with him this year. In terms of his play and everything, he certainly didn't justify that contract in his first season.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. I think DK Metcalf would be more what I would like to do. I think T. Higgins, they're going to want a first, and I don't think we should do that. Obviously, Christian Kirk was released. I don't think we should go for him. I think he's a a
He's
number two
interesting,
guy.
though. He's interesting because he's going to be, I think, he's going to be fairly inexpensive.
Oh yeah, he's.
I think he's a guy who has low end number one talent.
I don't know if he's low end. I think he's strictly, in my eyes, he's more of a number two.
Yeah.
So you would need that Leggett or Coker to step up to be that number one guy.
He's just an interesting thought, yeah. But again, I guess these number two, number three guys don't really fit
what we need,
roster, right? Yeah, we need the number one, and I agree. I guess he wouldn't be head and shoulders above anybody that we currently have on the roster.
Yeah,
what about Chris Godwin?
That's the one I'm really curious about. I think Chris Godwin's very good. I would like him on my team. I don't know what we would have to pay for him. And he's also familiar with Canales as well.
Well, why don't we take a short break and we'll discuss
Chris Godwin.
That particular player. Chris Godwin when we get back.
All right. Spot Rack has helped me again when pulling up Chris Godwin. He's 29 years old. He's 8 years in the league. His market value is 3 years, $67 million. I mean,
that seems about right.
Yeah,
he's a different tier, I think, wide receiver than T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, right? He's better than Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
For sure. But he would not be at that top tier wide receiver, right?
No, he wouldn't be. Not at this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at his stats, I'm actually kind of shocked at how he is.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is like he deals with a lot of little injuries here and there.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like he's played most games, like 16 last year and 16 this year.
But he never seemed like super healthy last year.
Exactly. Like. Only 500 yards last year.
Yeah.
And 800 a year before with Canales. So I know Mike Evans has had great 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing is, yeah. Again, I don't know about him.
Honestly,
I think he's got great talent, but has he hit a wall?
Yeah, because he's been a speed guy. Let's be real. He's a speed guy at 29 years old. Mm-hmm. Did he lose a step? And as speed guys, that's more damaging. Like the big physical receivers like Mike Evans can lose a step, but still produce because of the way they play.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm seeing that he had 1,024 yards in 2023.
Let me check
with Canales.
Oh, I'm looking at this backwards. I'm dumb. Yes, you are correct. Then never mind. I apologize.
Okay. Okay. See, still, he played 7 games last year due to injury.
Then, yes, I am fine signing him for that contract. Oh, my God, guys. And it hasn't even been a bad day for me.
Wow.
And I'm sober. Sober. The Panthers haven't been playing Sundays, so I'm sober right now.
I do still have some injury concerns with him because he does seem to be a guy that when I have him on my fantasy team, I'm never confident he's going to play. Right?
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy for me. So I do think that money is fair, though. I would pay him that. So what, 28 million a year or something?
It was only 22 million a year.
22 million a year. That's even better.
I think you're gonna have to pay 25 in the open market.
25 is
I mean,
25 is okay.
At 29 years old, he's literally just turned 29 a couple days ago. So you're looking at it, again, I don't think you get 3 years. I think you give him a 4-year deal, $100 million. I'm using quotation marks here. Mm-hmm. And that last year is a dead cap of like $8-9 million that you can kind of just walk away from. I think that would be decent.
Who was it that you said signed for like 4 years, 96? One of those top receivers. Oh, was it Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yeah, Calvin Ridley got 4 years, 92 just recently. So
Yeah, is he kind of Calvin Ridley? I don't know. Seems overrated. That seems like too much money for him.
well, I'm just telling you what
Yeah,
the Jags paid him. I think
I'm,
last year
I'm
or the
just
year before.
trying to slot where Godwin would be, but yeah, 25 I think is okay.
Yeah, I did too. I think 25 is what you're gonna have to pay in the open market. You're gonna have to pay that. Hey, you're not a real contender right now. Tax.
Yeah. Oh,
So
Hopkins is listed as a free agent, by the way. He is on this list.
I don't want Hopkins here. Like
I think he's not what again, I think he's a great guy on a contender,
yeah,
but not a team that's trying to get there.
yeah. I think he's a good like number 2, 3 guy, a good locker room guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Chiefs should bring him back. Like that's where he should be,
Yeah, hundred
in my
percent.
opinion.
I guess to also see him like as a 49er. Him and
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, I could see as a 49ers.
Yeah, or Devontae Adams, yeah. He's just gonna go wherever Aaron Rodgers goes.
I doubt it. I don't think so.
No, I think they're a package deal.
You do?
Yeah. I think
Back to
they're a
the
package
Raiders
deal.
it goes.
That would be funny. That would be funny. Yeah, I mean, and then you got what, Stephon Diggs. Is
Nah.
he would be in a lower tier than Chris Godwin, I would think, right? Just
I wouldn't want that headache. I would just say keep him
yeah,
away from Bryce Young and this.
yeah,
This
agreed.
team seems to have momentum and gel and like each other. I don't want that type of issue in our locker room this year.
Yeah, agreed. Amari Cooper.
He's not a number one now.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think he's what we need.
I just these guys are good, and I'm not saying that they're not. It's just this team needs a number one. These guys that we're talking about in my head aren't a number one anymore.
T. Higgins and DK Metcalf would be ideal scenarios because of how young they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with DK Metcalf specifically, his familiarity with the roster, like those guys to me are like the top tier. That's what we need. That caliber of receiver,
Yeah.
right? That would jumpstart us to the next level. Then you've got Godwin, who I think would elevate the offense.
Mm-hmm.
But is Amari Cooper markedly more exciting to you than Xavier Legette or Jalen Coker
No,
right now?
absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would prefer to
I
go
think
into the
I think
draft.
he's really good, but yeah, agreed.
I think I'd prefer to go after a receiver probably in round 2 or round 3, or
Yeah.
tap T-Mac in the first round if he's there.
Yeah. Or you trade back or something and get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another guy. Deontay Johnson.
Ooh,
Worst
he had some good years in Pittsburgh.
worst contract year of all time. Of all time.
I mean, he was going to be one of those guys too. If
He
he'd have put up 1,000 yards without being a headache here in Carolina, he would have gotten massive money this year.
Oh yeah. I wanted to see his market value. Not only did he have an issue with the Panthers, he went to so many different teams. I think
Yeah.
he was on like 3 or 4 different teams last year.
I think he went to the Ravens, and then where did he end up?
I think he was on Houston.
He was in, yeah,
I think the
he was in
Chiefs at one
playoffs,
time.
Yeah. Yeah. He was all over the place.
His annual salary is now at 3.5 million. 1 year,
Wow.
3.5 million. And I don't even think he gets that. No one. I don't
No.
think he gets. He's probably, his agent's probably begging to have him latch on with a team this offseason.
That's yeah. He's still only 28 too. That's tough. He only did it to himself though.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know?
that's all him.
It's not like a injury thing. It's just his personality.
It,
Uh,
And then you see like other guys who are like 30 something years old sticking around and stuff that
Yeah.
don't have his talent because they're good locker room guys. They'll do what the
Yeah.
coach says. They're, oh, special teams? Yeah, sign me up. Let me go hit somebody,
Yeah. But a guy like Mike Williams, just he seems to have the talent, just hasn't been.
That's an He's also 30 years old.
He is older than I thought. Wow.
I was going to say,
Yeah, I thought he was like in his mid to late, or his late 28-ish. I didn't realize he was 30.
Yeah, maybe he came out of college later than some of these other guys, but I thought he came out early. 30 years old. He does kind of fit the type that Canales likes, that bigger physical receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just he's never seemed to really just hit that elite level, but like 2021 he had 1,100 yards. But then it was like 895, and then he's been injured the last couple of years. So and traded. So yeah, I don't know. He's a guy like if everybody else like kind of goes away, and you're looking at like him or um let me pull that list back up. Him or like Hopkins or Robert Woods.
Yeah, I could
Marquise Brown, like that kind of general, like throw him 1 year's $10 million or something, right? Just to kind of see what he's got.
kick the tires, say hey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Anybody else on this list that tickles your fancy? I think they got Brandon Cooks as a pretty high value guy at 19 million a year. Spotrac has him.
You got Elijah Moore out there that maybe could do something. He's only 24 years old. It's not like he's been in the league for 4 years. He has some talent.
Yeah.
You could maybe bring him in, something like that. But
yeah. Again, that would be more of your.
Oh, that's definitely like a 5 million top.
You strike out with everybody else.
Yeah.
And you're hoping for something, yeah.
Maybe you could coach him up. I mean, honestly, bringing in someone like that, even as a depth piece, is not the worst scenario.
No, not at all. Yeah. What do they have him at? Like
4.5. I pulled him
4.5. Yeah. So he's just kind of a camp guy that you hope latches on, maybe.
Mm-hmm. That shows you why he was drafted in the second round. I mean, again, 24 years old.
Yeah. DJ Chark. Man, what happened to that guy?
Well,
like I felt like he was good at one time.
He just fell off.
It wasn't long before we got him.
It's speed, man. It's that speed. Yeah. As soon as they kind of some of those speed guys, when they lose that step, I mean, if they don't have that route running down, they kind of struggle. And then you have Thielen, who's never been a blazer, but look at him now. He has very little speed, but he knows how to run a route and he knows where to be, and he has good hands.
Yeah, he runs elite routes where he doesn't need the speed, right? He's just so precise.
And we have a quarterback is so precise of, hey, I know where you're going to be. I'm going to throw it where you're going to be, because his separation is not there either.
Man, how nice is it to say that, by the way? Like that we have the quarterback that can match perfectly with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because we truly did see that the last half of the season. Like, it's just so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice. All right. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else really that like we need to spend time talking about.
Nope. No.
I can't believe they got Deontay Johnson at 18. Oh, that's their average. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think that's going to do it. We will be back with our draft profiles. We have them queued up right now. James Pierce Jr. will be next, and then Jalen Walker. And then we will be doing another mock draft just to figure out who we're going to go next, as we will not pick anybody we touch on before.
Yeah, kind of an interesting way to keep doing mock drafts and then integrate it into the draft profiles a little bit. So excited about that. Okay, well, I think that will do it.
All right, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. I need to check that mailbag inbox and make sure it's still properly working.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be great. You should do that. All right. Well, we'll be back. Excuse me. Within a couple of days here with James Pierce. Until then, everybody stay safe and keep pounding.